So UK authorities funding gap 1.9 billion this year, rising to don't even know, somewhere north of 10 billion next year. So we're going to need to do some different things going forward, and so this is quite an interesting topic. I had a chat with Adam, who I'll introduce later, yesterday, about some cool stuff that they're doing. So realistically, what do we mean by changing citizens' behaviour? So I thought I'd give you a couple of examples at the beginning to start with. So, we see some people reducing operational costs by changing citizen behaviour. So how are we going to be more green, more sustainable? One example Adam shared with me yesterday was, instead of a green bin, have a compost bin. Trying to change citizens' behaviour around why green is good. But obviously that has an impact on how many green bins, if we collect green bins at all, we're going to be collecting. Or indeed, another example was engaging people of a certain age in more physical activity in order to prevent large expenses at a later date. So hopefully we'll have some good conversation. Let me introduce you to the rest of the team who are on here, who may not have got their videos on. And as if by magic, a new slide appears. Thank you, whoever's doing that. So just going left to right, we've got Matt Clements, Solution Specialist from Microsoft. Just say hi, Matt, wherever you are.
Morning, everyone.
We've got Sarah, who's going to be showing us some stuff today, Sarah, right?
Yeah, I'll be talking through some stuff along with David as well. So Hi, everyone. Morning.
And then we've got David from A&S, who's one of our pre-sales consultants, who's working with Sarah from Microsoft and giving you some of the demonstration today. We've got Neil Stewart, one of our client directors, who looks after some of the LRG accounts. And then I'm delighted to introduce, and most excited about, Adam. Although, Adam, that's not your current hairstyle, is it? But we won't talk about that just yet.
April the 12th, Adam. April the 12th. That's when they open.
April the 12th. Well, aren't we all waiting? Yeah. Or if you're going bald, then you don't need to, like me. So Adam's head of marketing from North Lincolnshire Council's joining for a chat. Just some housekeeping. We've got a team of people on. If you want to ask some questions in the chat box, then please do, and somebody will try and pick it up for you. And we're also going to have a Q&A at the end with Adam and the team as well. So the agenda for today. Well, overview of Dynamics 365 for marketing. Matt's going to have a quick chat about that. And then we're going to talk about proactive citizen engagement. How are we inspiring change in citizen behavior? How are we empowering your marketing team by using Dynamics? And then I'm going to be having a question and answer fireside chat with Adam. Then I've got a slide on next steps. There's a QR code on there so that you can give us your feedback and a couple of contact details if you wanted to take the conversation any further. So I'll put myself on mute. Looking forward to the next 45 minutes, and I'll hand over to Matt.
Great stuff. Thank you, Adam. Yep. So morning, everyone. I just want to take a moment really to set the scene as to where Dynamics marketing fits in with the wider Microsoft ecosystem. So many of you will probably have experience with the likes of Microsoft Teams, Office 365, and the look and feel you'll see today very much matches this theme, just given the kind of interconnectivity by design that the Microsoft product set has. So marketing sits within our sort of core business applications platform, of which you've got about 8 first-party apps, which can span the traditional sort of front and back office capabilities. So you've got sort of sales, marketing, and customer service traditionally at the front office, and obviously the finance and HR functions in the background. And then just to sort of demystify some of the icons in the middle there, we obviously also have the underlying Power Platform as well, which extends throughout Office 365, Teams, Microsoft Dynamics, and has its own standalone capability. But you've got Power BI for business intelligence, data visualization, Power Automate for business process automation, Power Apps for low-code, no-code app development, and along those lines as well, obviously Power Virtual Agents for low-code, no-code chatbots. So obviously Microsoft sort of continues to invest quite heavily in business applications, and we've also developed 8 intelligent kind of AI applications baked into the platform as well to derive insights from the data you're holding. So you could potentially be looking to recommend next steps and support that shift from reactive to proactive engagement. And then just finally on top of that as well, we've also got our mixed reality capabilities that sit on top of everything as well. So you get the future capability around the HoloLens and augmented reality. So I just want to sort of paint a picture as to where in the business applications world that the marketing piece sits. But obviously, whilst it does sit as part of a wider platform, I just wanted to call out that it can either be used alongside sort of sales, customer service, or existing sort of third-party applications. But equally, it can be used completely standalone as well. So if you're talking about the sort of citizen-facing use cases we're talking about today, or even just for internal communications linked back to HR, there's no real sort of prerequisite to have adopted the entire platform. It's very much a add things on as you need to and adopt as you go kind of approach. So Dynamics is sort of for marketing is completely standalone where need be. And with that, I'll hand over to Sarah because she can go for a bit of a deeper dive into the marketing side of things.
Brilliant. Thank you, Matt. So yeah, as Matt said, we're going to be focusing in on Dynamics marketing, and on the slide here, hopefully you can start to see some of the core components that we're talking you through today. So things such as segmentation and how we can start to target specific people and share tailored marketing content that will hopefully start to resonate with your citizens, through to things like event management, where we'll be looking at things from internal to external events, how we can then also start to run both in person but also virtual events as well, leveraging the team's capabilities. And this is both from a setup and a managing point of view, right the way through to running the event live as well. And then also I'd like to touch on a little bit around the customer journey side of things. So this is how you can start to automate out the sending of your content and really start to optimize your time. So some of these things will start to come to life as we go through the presentation today. And to hopefully bring it to life for you, we've got a couple of demo personas just to bring the story and the technology to life today. So we've got Jim here. So Jim is going to be our citizen. So he's really interested in learning around what's happening in the community and how we can get involved and support new initiatives. And then we've got Molly. Molly's our internal employee, and she manages our external marketing content. And we'll be taking a look at how she can start to support the council's wider strategy, but also analyse any key marketing data and metrics that come through into her. Now, what's important to note as we go through this presentation is the focus of the flow will be more to do with the external communications, but everything that you see today, the look and the feel, how we build things out, can also be done from an internal point of view, and we'll touch on this at the end. So the theme, as Adam said right at the start, is really around how can we start to inspire that change in citizen behaviour, but also how can we accelerate that recruitment journey. And like I said, we've got a bit of a flow with a couple of scenarios that we're going to talk you through today. So to kick things off, we're going to start off on the left-hand side with around our citizen engagement. And specifically, we've got a waste team who unfortunately were unable to collect the waste from Manor Road. So they're going to go ahead and notify the relevant individuals, and Molly, our internal employee, then is notified and can quickly come in and start to create out some tailored messaging to send out to our citizens. And then we'll take a look from Jim's point of view. How will he receive that information? How can he interact with the emails that are shared with him? The next section in our middle chunk is how we can start to empower our citizens, but this is where that behaviour change really comes in, and also that recruitment journey we'll be touching on in this section here. So this is more around how can we start to have regular engagements with our citizens. So looking at things such as monthly newsletters that we can share out, and again, really starting to drive that citizen behaviour change and start to share this kind of growth mindset that we have and a learn it all culture within the local authority. So we'll be sharing an event around sustainability and how individuals within the local authority can start to upskill, learn a little bit more. And then off the back of attending that event, we'll then take a look at how we can start to share a survey to collect that feedback and understand how we can improve the sharing of knowledge. And then the final section that we'll go through is really let's get hands-on and let's get under the hood and see how we actually build out some of these resources. So we'll be taking a look at how do we start to target those specific people and how do we build out our segments. We'll then be looking into how can we start to create tailored emails that are accessible and inclusive to all. We'll take a look at how we can start to automate out our citizen journeys. And then finally, we'll close up with a little bit around into the insight side of things. So hopefully that is a bit of an action-packed agenda and everyone's looking forward to seeing some of the content. So to kick things off, we're going to take a look into the citizen engagement side of things. And as I said, Manor Road, unfortunately, their bins weren't collected. We're going to take a look from both Molly and Jim's point of view around how do we create the content, how do we share it out, and how does Jim as a citizen then interact with it. So we're diving into dynamics marketing here, and put yourself in Molly's shoes as a marketing manager. And what you can see on the screen here is this is the customer journey that she has created to set to go live, ready to share out with the citizens. So you can see on the left-hand side, and I'm going to attempt to draw a bit of a circle in red there. So you can see she's created this segment for RG21 and Manor Road. So this is specifically targeting individuals that fall within that category there. Then we can see she started to progress the journey along, and we're going to send an email out about missed bins. So that email will automatically be sent out, and we've got a bit of a decision point that comes next, which is saying that if someone has opened that email, we're going to progress them along the top journey here. So if Jim then opens that email up, we're going to put a little weight on, and we're then going to send a survey afterwards. This is all automated. All Molly has to do is simply use the little plus icons to add in the relevant information, hit it to go live, and this will automatically flow through for her. Equally, if Jim doesn't open that email, we want to make sure that he's getting all the key and relevant information. So we can then follow this no route down here, and we can then send that follow-up reminder email to him. So like I said, this is super easy to do, and we can then start to hit it to go live afterwards. So from now Jim's point of view, what we'll be able to see is he gets an email that comes through into him. He can easily start to interact with the information. It's proactive. We're outreaching to him straight away. And then we can start to add in things such as calendar reminders, just to make it as easy as possible for Jim and take away the pain and the challenges around maybe him having to phone up to come through to you or coming in to visit you to complain. We're starting to be more proactive and anticipating the challenges that he might be facing as a citizen and start to share out that content before he has the chance to pick up the phone. So just to summarise, in that first scenario that we've been through, we're able to take a quick look into how we can start to respond to the changes of our environment around us. We can start to be a little bit more proactive with our outreach to citizens. And then finally, we took a look at how we can start to automate out our responses as well. So the next scenario that we're going to hop into is around that empowering our citizens. And what this flow looks like here, just a quick recap, is we're going to take a look at those more interactions that we might have on a more regular basis. So we're going to share out a monthly newsletter, again, around how can we start to inspire that change in behaviour for our citizens and start to recruit people to get involved in some of our initiatives. And in this case, it's going to be all around sustainability, and we're going to share a link over with Jim where he can then start to register to come and attend our event. And then off the back of it, we're going to share a survey to collect all of his feedback. So we're now going to get hands-on and take a little bit of a look of a live demo, and I'm going to hand you over to David, who's going to talk you through how Jim can interact with a newsletter, register for that event, and then complete a survey. So over to you, David.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sarah. So what I'm going to do now is take a look at Jim's mailbox. So we're going to start off from the persona of the citizen here. And you can see in his mailbox, he's got 2 emails that have automatically come through. One is the monthly newsletter, which we're going to dive into and have a look around. And a second after he's completed that is just an event survey. So if we click into the monthly newsletter, what I've done is keep them open in tabs at the top just to make it easier to navigate around. This is what it looks like. So again, you can customize this to your heart's content. And what we're going to do when we dive into Dynamics later is just show you how easy it is to enrich these emails and build custom kind of templates for your organization with your logos, colors, whatever layout you want to effectively engage with those citizens so they can interact with these messages really, really easily. So you can see that this is just a quick one that I've thrown together. I've put a logo in there. You can see that there's an upcoming event. There's some information about a compost bin as well. So if I clicked on these links, what it's going to do is just take me to somewhere where I can find out some more information, or in this scenario, I can actually order a compost bin if I wanted to. What we're going to do is dive into this event, which I've created in Dynamics 365 Marketing. So if I click into that, what it's going to do is give me this event page, which me as a citizen can actually interact with and sign up to the event and find out actually what's happening at this particular event. And again, this is all done in Dynamics Marketing, which I will show you later. So on this screen, you can see the sessions that are available on this type of event. So if I click in there, I can quickly see what that particular session's about, and I can actually register for individual parts. For example, if this was over 3 or 4 days, you're going to have multiple sessions with multiple speakers, and that individual might not want to attend all of them. So in this scenario, you can actually dive into the individual sessions that citizen wants to attend. So if I wanted to go to this one, for example, I can just click add session, and notice in the top right hand side of the screen, it's added it to my cart, which I can then register for. We can see session tracks as well. So again, if it was over multiple days, you can start building out these rich events with different sessions that people can actually click into and attend as they see fit. And if I click on speakers as well, it's going to give a bit of information about the individuals that are speaking at the event. So that's all customized and set up within Dynamics Marketing. Once we've registered for that event, or we want to register, you can see the two things in my cart there. If I click on finish registration, I can then start filling in some details that will then feed through to the marketing aspect and create kind of a registration record against that event. So I can easily and quickly see who's interacted with these emails, who's clicked through these emails, so I can gain insights into that, and then also who's registered for these events. So it works seamlessly together. Once we've registered for the event and we've attended it, as I mentioned, we can then forward out an email, which is kind of a follow-up to say, thank you very much for attending. Here's a survey. So what I'm going to do, I'm back in Jim's mailbox. You can see that email at the top. If we click into this tab called ANS Council, this is the survey email. And again, you can see the custom colors and whatnot on screen, which I've quickly created in Dynamics Marketing. You can see, there's some information in there saying thank you very much for joining the event, and I can actually go and see what other events are available. If I select take survey, it's just going to open a new window where I can actually fill in that survey information and submit that to the council. And again, off the back of this, we can have insights into those surveys and that information that we're gathering, so we can just understand it better and make more informed business decisions to maybe improve that event. I mean, this not necessarily around events. We can send this survey out for any type of feedback that we want to gather. So in summary, what we looked at there was the proactive engagement. So that automation of those emails, the event being sent out to Jim, the resident. You've got the follow-up survey and some more information being sent out there. You're educating them about the events and the things that are going on in the community. And off the back of that information that we send, we can obviously gain insights to the information, whether that's the surveys or the newsletters that we're sending out. How effective are they? Are people clicking into them? Are they not interacting with them at all? What's happening there? So now is where we move into the fun part. So this is the design and the creating that engaging content, which I've just shown you. So what we're going to look at now is we're going to dive into Dynamics 365 marketing, and everything that myself and Sarah's just showed you, we're going to kind of highlight how easy it is to build that rich content with your logos, your custom colors, and then automate that process, automate that engagement. So we're going to dive into segments. So that's where you're segmenting a group of people to market to. That could be internal users in a particular team. That could be the citizens in a particular postcode, like a missed bin collection, for example, or it could just be a generic newsletter that you're sending out to all of your citizens. We're then going to look at the creation of tailored emails and how easy it is to build those emails. Some of the features available there, which are really, really nice, and just how simple it is to build those out. We're going to look at the automation of citizen journeys. So this is a customer journey within Dynamics 365 marketing, and how easy it is to automate that end-to-end process of triggers sending emails automatically, what happens when they register for an event and attend an event, and just how quickly it is to build it out. And then along the way, we're going to talk about the insights with those areas. So what I'm going to do now is dive into Dynamics 365 marketing. And we're going to start off in the segments section. So you can see here, I've got a few different segments on screen. You can see that there's this inspired change event. We've got a newsletter. So this is, as I mentioned, grouping a set of people to market to. So you've got two different types of segments. You've got dynamic and static there. And the static ones are basically you're just querying a system and saying, right, I want to bring back users in this particular postcode so I can send them an email for a missed bin collection. That, you know, that those people in that container aren't necessarily going to change. But if you want a dynamic segment, this is where you can actually query the data in the system, and as and when maybe contact information changes, they might move house or they might move, you know, completely out of the area. That dynamic segment is going to update. So it's going to take people out of the container, put people into the container, depending on the query that you have set up. So that's just a quick overview of the segments. What I'm going to do now is just move tabs and move into marketing emails. So this is where you would configure that newsletter, and this is from the persona of someone using the system. So we're moving away from Jim now, really, and this is the marketing person configuring all this material that's being sent out. And in here is where they can quickly configure these custom newsletters or any type of emails that they want to send out. You can use this really simple interface. So as you can see, I can literally just click into sections. I can add images. I can literally change the format and also use system templates. So there's lots of pre-configured templates in there, but I can set up my own. So again, as a council, you're going to have your own logos and maybe format for an internal email as opposed to an external one. And again, you can create all that yourself very, very easily just by, like I said, clicking into these areas. On the right hand side here, you've got like a properties area. So again, if I click into these different sections, it's going to give me some information that's associated to it. So again, let's scroll down the newsletter and we can click into this section. And again, you can see it pops up with a nice, easy to use interface where I can populate some information and build these rich content emails. What I wanted to also highlight is just some of the features around kind of checking this email before, you know, you're happy to send it out. You're not going to go away and send this out to 100 people. What you want to do is just give it a once over and do some checks to make sure that it's you know, accessible and everything looks right on screen, and also whether or not it's, you know, spam checker on the right hand side there. So what I've done is I've changed this upcoming event information to grey in color. And if I click on accessibility checker, what that's going to do is review the email, and it's actually going to say, hang on, this text that you've got in this color is maybe hard to see on computer screens. So we recommend that it's changed. So I can literally just go in here, change the color to something else. Let's change it to black. Hit check again, that should pass. And once that passes, as you could see, I can then move on to the next part. So it's a nice way to just quickly get the system to check over that email before it's sent out to individuals. You've also got the HTML option there. So again, depending on how you like to configure these, instead of using the nice and easy to use designer, which I love using, but someone might want to use the HTML setup, and they can click in there and start configuring it that way as well. If we move to the top in the tab section, so you've got some summary information about the email. What I really wanted to just highlight is the insights area. So again, off the back of this email being sent out, you can see how many times it's been delivered, things like hard bounces. If they open it up and navigate through as well, unique clicks, you can gather all that information about how these emails are being interacted with by those citizens. So yeah, we can quickly go in there and we can report against that information. Very, very easy to do. So moving on from that, what I wanted to do is just highlight the customer journey. So we've talked about missed bin collections. We talked about that automation where they're receiving emails. We've shown you how to create those emails, but now is where we pull all those pieces together to create a thing called a customer journey. And what this does, it uses all those elements that we've just talked about, brings it all together and automates that email send. And again, I love this. It's really simple to use, and anyone can just get stuck in and start building out this content. What you can see here is we've segmented people by a particular postcode, for example. We've then sent them a monthly newsletter. If I click into that monthly newsletter, it's actually going to pop up on the right-hand side of the screen there. So that's the newsletter I showed you earlier. If they register for the event and attend the event, it's going to take them on this journey and send them a survey. If they don't register, it's going to send them a follow-up email to say, do you want to come and register for this event? And again, I can click into these sections and see the emails that are associated to it. And once I start off that customer journey, it's going to take them on it and automate that email send throughout. So just moving back to the PowerPoint now. And to summarize those sections that we've just gone through, we talked about segments, so easily segmenting those individuals in different areas, whether that's internal people for the organization or external citizens. We looked at how to enrich those emails and just how simple it was to build, test, and send out those emails. We talked about the automation with the customer journey, and then along the way, we talked about the insights into the emails, surveys, events, and much more. So I know the scenario that we've talked about is all around external. So the scenario that we've given you from Jim's perspective is interacting with your citizens, but by all means, this could be used internally as well. So you've got the collaboration with teams, so you can connect Dynamics 365 marketing seamlessly with teams, so you can actually work directly in teams on records, or any information that's in marketing can be displayed the same way but within teams. So you've got that collaboration across your organization, and also those customer journeys where you're interacting with your citizens. You could actually change that so you're interacting with your internal employees. And there's an example of a mask kind of guide that we've sent out. And again, off the back of that, you can always gain insights to the engagement and how they're coming along. So thank you very much. I'm going to pass it over to Adam and Adam.
Hey everybody, thanks for that. Thanks Sarah, thanks Matt, thanks David. Oh, I can see myself, which is awful, but thank you very much. So yeah, cool. Adam, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Bit strange that we've got two Adams, but there we go. At least I won't forget you. So quick easy question to just kick it off with. If you could just,
I don't know. That's my. Is that my connection or yours, Adam? Forgive me.
Where are you up to at the moment? Oh, it might be mine.
I missed.
Can you not hear me, mate?
I missed the softball question, mate. If I'm honest.
Introduce yourself, Adam. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would, and what your role is at North Links.
Yeah, so head of marketing for North Lincolnshire Council. We're at South Humber Bank. Everybody see the Humber Bridge behind me. Local authority, unitary authority. We've 172,000 people. I've been in the role for about 2 years. I'm trying to think, bit of a scope on the area. 85 towns and villages. Scunthorpe, the largest town within that, circa 75,000 population. We've got an interesting demographic. 33% of the economy is still in manufacturing, which is real positive. I'm sure many people have heard of British Steel and the plant here. Steel went into the Shard in London, for example. Some internationally renowned projects. In my view, made in Scunthorpe, which is real positive. So I'm a journalist by trade. Cut my teeth in local newspapers, crime reporting for a long period of time. Went off and did a bit of consultancy in public affairs, PR, media. Fell back into journalism in the business world. I was editing a magazine for a short period of time and did lots of events. Obviously, advent of digital communications, newsletters, etc. And then
that's an interesting journey into a local authority.
It is, and then before that, I was development director at a law firm for 2 years as well. So sort of bounced around a little bit, and then joined.
So I think that's why it's super interesting, right? About your background and what you're trying to do at North Links. So just for us, us all on the call, what does citizen engagement sort of mean to you? Can you frame it in a paragraph for us?
I think in simple terms, it's that step beyond the communications, and it's citizen or community involvement in product and service development and delivery.
And I know we had some interesting chats the other day about how do we get our citizens engaged, and what about building products and trying to, and one of the questions that was asked earlier, right, how do we get them engaged, and what's that sort of and your citizens in order to say, if you give us more, we'll give you more. So, couple of examples, because you had some crackers about how your guys are trying to reduce costs by changing that type of behaviour.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a point in the chat about the pact. I think somebody was asking about the
about the GDPR and how do we get residents to engage?
Yeah, there's the purpose limitation in GDPR, which sort of, how can you do it? But we're looking at it as a sort of, I don't want to say a deal, but it's a, if the product's better, then, there's a bit in it for us, which is we get that bit of data and we can then market new products and new services to us. But fundamentally, if the product's better, I think you've got a willing customer base. And without sounding too lofty, I talk a lot about how looking at Amazon, how they do it better in most cases, and they do it for less money. So you're getting a better product and it's cheaper. And if you can take that sort of those principles into what you're trying to do, the example we mentioned was around the compost bins. And we collect 70,000+ households. We do the 3 different types of collections. One of them's garden waste, and we just simply started offering people a composter. So we'll come and no waste collection, and you can just compost at home. And it's not necessarily immediately saving money, because the until we get to whole streets where we don't have to go down to collect it on the Thursdays, there's not necessarily an immediate saving there, but the CO2 savings, the cost saving in terms of the tonnage, etc., and there's the benefits are across the board. I've started doing it myself. I've now got some compost from my garden.
Well, I want to do it, but my local council don't do it. So just in terms of that example, the process that you went through to get these people engaged, and because that is about changing citizen behaviour, and it's about saying green is good and you should be doing this, and we want to be more sustainable. So how did you go about doing it? Was it a simple offer that you made to your residents?
We try and take the it sounds rather lofty, but the sort of we've looked at the COM-B model of behaviour change. So you're looking at the capability, the opportunity, and the motivation. So capability, can people or do people know how to do it? Do they have the capability to be able to do it? The opportunity, can they do it? Do they have a garden? Do they need a bin? Do they, can they actually? Do they have the space to be able to use a composter? And then the motivation factor, I think, is where the comms comes in, because you start to build the narrative. There's the green credentials, there's the cost savings, there's the it's better for the environment, and in many ways, I think what we try and do with that motivating element is around. You're trying to direct behaviour change, but you're trying to energize it, and you're trying to tap into those innumerable different narratives that exist. Green being one particularly at the moment around that, and how you can make a positive impact at home, your family, your community, and ultimately.
Do you think the next step of that, Adam, will be some form of? I know it's a thing that we had a quick chat about. Do you think it'll be some form of gamification with residents? Do you think the residents are ready for that?
I think so. Yeah, definitely, because I think if you get a better product and gamification, not got to avoid the sort of Orwellian conspiracy theories, But I think people's view generally of data and sharing data, people are willing to open up their data and give away their data if they get a better service. And I think if we put that at the heart of what we're trying to do, then it's a deal. It's that pact again that I mentioned. That is okay. Well, I'm willing to give Amazon the amount of information and data I give Amazon because I know I get a better service. I can order something on a Saturday, and in many cases it arrives on the Sunday, whereas it might actually be out of stock in a physical store. And that's there's an element of chicken and egg, isn't there, in terms of the sort of structural decline of retail and the growth of online. It's not, how do you know which came first? In many ways, it's kind of irrelevant because what's better? And I think that's the bit that we've got to look at, and that's the bit that we're trying to understand more. And I think if you can build in that gamification, which again is
well, it's just a fancy word for getting people involved and trying to follow the model that you were talking about and get them excited about a change, right? And trying to get them motivated and giving them some rewards for doing it to help them along that journey and ultimately trying to move more people along that journey a bit quicker, right?
Yeah, and if it comes back to, again, I would, with a marketing background, obviously, but you look at it from a product perspective. Is the product better? And can you make the product better? And in many ways, it's not just the product itself, it's the service that wraps around that. So it's the delivery of the product, and does using some of the gamification in terms of building profiles, in terms of building access to information, does that allow us to deliver the product in a more efficient way? Well, if it does, then the customer gets a better deal, don't they?
Yeah, and have you identified some of the products that you might want to go after to start with? Are you working to that level yet?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're looking at the other thing is about the complexity, or not the complexity, the range of offers. Yeah. That's one of the challenges. And I think it comes to the point about the purpose limitation that somebody mentioned earlier. But actually, we're looking at how we're working at something with registrars, for example. We do the Imagination Library program locally, which is the books for 0 to 5 year olds, and we've got something like a 96% sign up rate to that. Wow. And that's because we put that into the registrars, so the registrars, at the point at which people are registering the births, they're forgive me for want of a better term, but flogging the books as well. But at the minute that sort of operates discreetly. Now for me, what we've then got is an opportunity. So we've got an active involved parent in learning, in engaging their children in reading and literature, etc., etc. So what we're then trying to do is how do we migrate them from one offer, which is Imagination Library, to the broader libraries offer. And we've got some digital subscriptions, etc., etc. And so we're connecting those bits. Now there's a broad range of products that we have, and if you try and do them all in one go, which is where we probably were a couple of years ago, you just can't. You're 6 months down the line.
Right.
Yeah, 6 months down the line, you've not done anything. So we're trying to take a bit of a, and it's my version of agile development. So forgive me if there's any sort of evangelical agile bods on the call. Forgive me, but it's we know where we want to get to, but it's breaking it down into the little chunks. Then we can get it through the project management funnel. We can get it through the process, but we always know that we're trying to build it in to this single customer view. And it'll take some time to get there, but we are looking at the vast array of, what are the easy wins that we can fold in, and then you've got almost like a you've got buy-in, you've got you can see the customers already.
Does it feel a little bit like a journey of attrition that it's like establishing a beachhead and then establishing another beachhead, and then you've got more people taking some services and more and more and more on on the journey to try and change, because you're never going to change everybody, right? Because the demographic's too wide. But you're just trying to focus on the segment of people for a service in order to win that beachhead, change some behaviour, reduce some operational cost if possible, do some good work for the citizen, make it easier for them. So listen, a few minutes left. I see a question in the. I see somebody with a hand up. So, Sue, do you have a question? Are you okay to? Oh, there we are. Hi, Sue.
Yeah. Hi. I was just interested because we're in Wales, so from Powys County Council. I love the idea. I think we might need to go for a different behaviour change campaign because we have statutory targets to meet on the recycling and composting, whereas in England you don't. But I just wondered whether you'd had any pushback from directors when you were trying to look at the campaign, just because of the
No.
Okay.
We actually we had the challenge was in the complexity of the product, and I think that's one thing that we probably, or I've tried to push through, which is actually I've tried to involve communications and marketing further up in terms of the product development. So it got very complex at one point about delivery and how we would pick. And actually we got involved and just said, look, let's just keep it simple. We launched the campaign, which was grow, don't throw. It's all right. It's not great, but actually what it enabled us to do was to get out there, and we've got within we've got 600 people to sign up, which is a real positive. And that's that's quite a lot. That's 600 households that we're now not collecting. We pay. I was trying to get the stats from Game Waste while I was chatting earlier, but we pay 25 quid a ton or something like that. So there's that saving there, and it was complex and bumpy, but we simplified the product, and I think that's what made the difference. And then people could look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see that. I'll just not do that and do this.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting. Just the balance of the political will, the costs saved on the one hand, but then it doesn't go towards your recycling target tonnage on the other hand, whether you'd had anything there. But yeah, thank you very much.
And we have as well, just briefly, sorry Adam, if I might, we've got a range of products in there as well. So you can have your bin. You can have the brown rounders for your garden waste. You can have that, which is 140 litre. You can have we'll give you a composter, or you can actually have a subscription to a larger brown bin if you so choose. So you've got choice there for the resident as well, which is 39 quid a year, I think it is.
Similar to ours.
So there's a product choice, which
nice.
in my view I think is better rather than simply we'll pick your bin up once a fortnight, 140 litres.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Sue. Barry, your question: how does Dynamics work if you're doing everything in 2 languages? Interesting challenge that. I don't know whether you've seen, or maybe do a bit more. We can help you. The Microsoft team can help you, or ANS around the work that the Welsh government have been doing and around track and trace and the 2 languages and interchanging between the 2. And I know you've got some specific legal requirements there. So
Adam, I would let Callum answer that one because he's go on, Callum. Do you want to answer that? Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Quickly. Hi everybody. Yeah, throw my hand up. Hi, I'm Callum. I'm the Dynamics lead in Wales. So Dynamics 365 is live in several Welsh customers with bilingualism support. Dynamics 365 is also in the Welsh government, several councils and NHS Wales meeting the requirements of the Welsh Language Act. So bilingualism is something that we can do. Probably something to dive into on a Welsh specific call, and I'm happy to do that. But yeah, in terms of your bilingualism approach, Dynamics can support that, as can the Power Platform.
So there's a few more questions that we'll take in the chat, but just conscious of everybody's time, we're at the 45, 47 mark. Adam, been great to talk to you. I think you're doing some really cool stuff. I'm going to keep pushing my local council for a compost bin. And maybe I'll be the first in the area in order to get some. So just wrapping up, really, let me quickly share a screen with you. Just wrapping that up, and I hope everybody can see that skit. Just quickly, there's a QR code there. If you want to click on that, it links you to a form to take your feedback on the session. Is there anything else that you should have been hearing? If you wanted to reach out to Neil, who looks after from the A&S side, then Neil's email address is on there and his telephone number. Please do give us the feedback on the QR code. Or if you fancy having a more in-depth conversation with either Microsoft or with A&S, then book a one-to-one session in and discuss with your account manager at Microsoft to understand there's some cracking offers around Dynamics marketing that were launched at Microsoft Ignite that you might want to take some advantage of. So Neil's also put his email in the chat, obviously keen as mustard. So want to thank everybody for taking the time today, especially thank Adam. Brilliant. Thanks, mate. Absolutely super stuff that you're doing. I like your little model. I'm going to go and do a bit more research on that about how to motivate the citizens in order to move. Thank you to Microsoft. Thanks to the team at A&S for putting some work in. If you've got any questions, please reach out to the team. But other than that, have a lovely day. I hope you enjoy the sunshine. It's shining here in Manchester rather than raining. So have a great day. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks all.
For joining.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye now. There's a few more questions that we'll take in the chat, but just conscious of everybody's time. We're at the 45, 47 mark. Adam, been great to talk to you. I think you're doing some really cool stuff. I'm going to keep pushing my local council for a compost bin, and maybe I'll be the first in the area in order to get some. So just wrapping up, really. Let me quickly share a screen with you. Just wrapping that up, and I hope everybody can see that skit. Just quickly, there's a QR code there. If you want to click on that, it links you to a form to take your feedback on the session. Is there anything else that you should have been hearing? If you wanted to reach out to Neil, who looks after from the A&S side, then Neil's email address is on there and his telephone number. Please do give us the feedback on the QR code. Or if you fancy having a more in-depth conversation with either Microsoft or with A&S, then book a one-to-one session in and discuss with your account manager at Microsoft to understand there's some cracking offers around Dynamics marketing that were launched at Microsoft Ignite that you might want to take some advantage of. So Neil's also put his email in the chat, obviously keen as mustard. So want to thank everybody for taking the time today. Especially thank Adam. Brilliant. Thanks, mate. Absolutely super stuff that you're doing. I like your little model. I'm going to go and do a bit more research on that about how to motivate the citizens in order to move. Thank you to Microsoft. Thanks to the team at A&S for putting some work in. If you've got any questions, please reach out to the team. But other than that, have a lovely day. I hope you enjoy the sunshine. It's shining here in Manchester rather than raining. So have a great day. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks
for
all.
joining.
Cheers.